What's going on, guys? This is our weekly solo player's guide to the Nightfall with our Warlock. If you need a Hunter or a Titan guide, look in the description box down below. Those should be available no later than Wednesday this week. So if you need that, there they are. We're also going to do a Challenge of Elders guide later today, so that's also going to be in the description box down below. Now, if you're new to the channel, we do this every single week between Tuesday and Wednesday with all three classes, Warlock, Hunter, and Titan, or at least that's as far as the Nightfall goes. With the Challenge of Elders, we pick the best, or what I figure is the best class for the week, and then we break that down as well. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. Otherwise, let's go ahead and look at our the modifiers this week. And then we'll take a look at our setup, what we're rocking as far as weapons, subclass, and all of that. And then we'll rock the guide. Modifiers this week include Arc Burn. Arc damage from any source is greatly increased. Berserk, Minions of the Darkness won't flinch even after massive damage. Brawler, Guardian melee damage is greatly increased. Airbourne, players deal more damage while in the air, so jump a lot. And then Daybreak, the darkness grows stronger, and so do you. Form a fire team of 3 or 1 in this case, and unleash your light with greatly increased ability recharge, which just means if you ever played Mayhem Clash in the Crucible, it'll like really speed up all of your grenades, melees, and super recharge rates. So you're gonna be getting supers like crazy, which is awesome. So of course we're going Jalo Supercell. If you don't have this, this is our no raid weapons, but if you got them, Fatebringer is really great choice. I believe Chaos Dogma in the depth is also a very good choice. And if you don't have any primary burn weapons, I would say go Scout Rifle, to be honest, just so you can stay a little bit back, because there are a lot of wizards and a lot of arc damaging enemies. We're rocking Devil's Dawn in Arc because it's got life support and Firefly, and it's awesome. It's also the right, my favorite archetype, the highest impact, lowest rate of fire, which means it's going to do a butt ton of damage, especially with Arc Burn. And then we're rocking Bone Crusher. But if you don't have that, I would actually suggest if you've got some kind of arc rocket launcher with cluster bombs, I think that might actually really benefit you, especially with Airbourne. But as far as this goes, our class setup, we're using Perpetual Charge. Grenade kills recharge your melee, melee kills recharge your grenade. But if you want to rock Arc Web, that's also a very good option, especially since you're not going to have to worry about recharge rates too awful bad. Transcendence is awesome in this. When cast with full grenade and melee energy, Storm Trance restores your health to full and drains slower. This actually saved my life once or twice, so I'd highly recommend that. I like Rising Storm. Hits with Thunderstrike charge your super ability and melee energy, which is always nice. I would suggest Superconductor. Doubles your Storm Trance's lightning chaining capabilities. That just means it'll go crazy to hit other enemies. Once it hits one enemy, you'll see it like do 90-degree angles to get more enemies and more enemies and more enemies. It's pretty awesome. And then of course, Grenade and Jump is player's choice. Let's go ahead and rock this guide. Alright, so as soon as you get here, which is not too long into the strike at all, I would actually recommend staying up here because all these guys are going to do arc damage, or at least all the acolytes will. To your left, there's going to be a spawn of thralls. There's also going to be some coming at you from the right hand side. Just go ahead and take them out. And then in this next little section, there's going to be a few more acolytes. And then there's going to be a major wizard and a normal health bard wizard. Go ahead and be careful and take them out. If you got your super, go ahead and pop it. As you can see, it does wonders. Just make sure you jump while you're using your super. It'll melt them a whole lot quicker. So up next, go ahead and take these guys out. And then come over here to the left hand side as soon as you see them. throw a grenade, and then clean up who's ever left. And then there's going to be like 2 more acolytes, I believe, and then 1 major knight. So go ahead and take him out as well, and then we'll move on. Alright, so if you have your super here, I would also suggest popping it as soon as you get close to these guys. There's going to be a bunch of acolytes, a bunch of thralls. There's going to be 1 major knight. I believe there's one or 2 regular knights, as well as a couple more acolytes. Go ahead and just take them all out. Be careful of the one with the sword. The ones with the sword, they're going to do arc damage, I believe. And of course, you want to stay as far away as possible from these wizards. They will do arc damage. It will hurt a lot. Be very careful. So go ahead and take them out before you start jumping. And then go ahead and just jump all the way across. And start scanning this thing and unlocking it. Once you take out the Shrieker, it won't start opening until you actually start transmitting. But what you want to do is just kind of run around inside the circle, or round down there, just so those Shrieker blasts won't hit you. If you're low on sniper ammo, 1 shot with the sniper, and then a few with either your primary or your heavy will work. As you can see, Bone Crusher is just killing it. Then you're just going to do the same thing for the other side. If you've got a super, go ahead and pop it. Just keep popping your super as often as possible. It'll speed things up a lot. And it'll also make things easier. So as you can see, go ahead, just clear those guys out. I think there's like, what, 4 acolytes. There's going to be 3 or 4 knights total, and then 2 wizards that spawn in between each, I don't know what you want to call this, the Shrieker phase. And then they're just going to do the exact same thing again. So just be very careful. There are 2 wizards on each side. Careful while jumping so you don't hit the Shrieker. You have to start this all over. And then yeah, we'll go ahead, and once you get the second Shrieker down, and you'll have to clear that wave of ads before the door opens. So just be very careful. If you got any sniper ammo, that would be great for these enemies over here. For this second wave. Then other than that, we'll just go ahead and move on. Alright, so once you get the door to open, go ahead and just lob grenades. What you want to do though is stay back, because all these guys that are spawning in right now are doing arc damage. Every single one of them. All these taken acolytes do arc damage. I think the only things that don't do arc damage are these 2 knights that will also spawn in. They'll shoot some flames, which do solar, and then I believe their guns do void damage. So you don't have to be as careful with them, but the acolytes definitely, because they will also spawn in those acolyte eyes, and those will also shoot a lot of arc damage at you very quickly. Once you get rid of them, another wave of acolytes are going to spawn in. If you throw a storm grenade like you just saw me do, you can clean them up really quickly with your supercell. Next, these guys are going to spawn in. Be very careful of them. All of them will also do arc damage, so I would suggest saving your super for them to spawn in. And that way you can also start heading your way back towards the door if you have to. Next up, there's going to be, I believe there's 4 or 5 of these phalanxes. They also do arc damage, so be very careful and kind of stay back a little bit. We're also using the Ophidian aspects just for that really quick reload speed. That will also help a lot. With this one, all these guys are going to be majors. There's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 acolytes, probably closer to 5 than 3, obviously, and then a major wizard. Once you take all of them down, these guys are going to spawn in, and as you can tell, it gets really dangerous really fast. So do not stand in the middle like you just saw me doing. Pick a side and make your way around the room. Unless, of course, your super lasts as long. Remember to jump. That'll help you a lot clearing out all these ads with your super. And then once you kill all these guys, it's just going to be this last major knight. Go ahead and take him out. If you're 400 light, it'll take 2 sniper shots to the face to get him down. Go ahead and take out the orb before these guys start spawning in, and then you can just skip them. I wouldn't even turn around to kill these guys. I'm literally just wasting my time right now. So go ahead and just run back. Just go. You don't really need the points. If you're moving through this decently quick, I've died about 4 times now that you haven't seen. So if you're paying attention to the time marker, you do know. But the only reason that was is because I was trying to rush. Don't rush. You can pretty much take your time. As you can see, me taking my time is actually helping me more than trying to go for the quickest time or whatever. But once you get in this room, don't worry about the shriekers at all. They're just going to be a waste of your time. What you want to do is see whichever side of the room is open. It'll have a door that's open and one that's closed. Clear out as much of the enemies as possible on the side that has the open door with your sniper, if you have sniper. If not, I would highly suggest popping a special synth and getting sniper ammo. But once you do that, go ahead and just bolt it. You want to make sure at least these acolytes are all dead, because like I said, they are doing arc damage. And then if you have to, pop your super. You're honestly going to get it before the next section anyways, as you'll see. Just go ahead and run it out on your way down this little bridge. Just hold down that melee button. And then make sure you're reloaded, and then just watch the greatness that is the Zhao Supercell. To be honest, I wouldn't even recommend using anything but Supercell. Maybe Fang of Your Ute, but to be honest, Supercell in this strike particularly with these modifiers works incredibly well. So if you have to, once you get here, you can go ahead and wait for your synth box. It's either going to be a special or a heavy, depending on what you need or what you prefer. Go ahead and grab it. I don't know why I say that, because it's what you're going to get. It's going to be random. But just wait for good old Cool to spawn in. Once he does, find out where he's at. Go ahead and throw the grenade, and then just pelt him with everything you got. I would suggest waiting on your super just until this first wave of enemies start spawning in. Go ahead and just keep tapping jump button if you can too. If you know how to claw or you've got a scuff controller, works really well doing that. I claw myself. I don't have the money to buy a scuff controller, especially when I can just claw for free. But be careful once you get them down to a certain amount of health. That first wave won't have any exploder shanks, but the second one will. And all these thralls, their melees also do arc damage, so be very careful. What I suggest is just hopping around this area over and over, just around and around, killing ads until they're all gone, and then focus on Alakul. Just because Alakul is the only one not doing arc damage in this strike. I'm not sure exactly what his burn is, but I noticed it's definitely not arc. So go ahead and start taking him out. Once you see enemies start spawning in, either pop your super and go to town, or just start jumping around, throwing grenades as often as possible. You just don't want to be caught in a group of thralls because they will kill you just like that. It'll be pretty close to instantaneously. So be very careful of them. Throw your grenades. Also, a neat little trick. Well, it's not very neat, but it will help if just before you get to this section, turn your brightness up, maybe all the way. I don't do that myself, but it does help you see where you're going a whole lot more than just trying to do this. But once you get down to about, I think it's about a third health, maybe a little bit less. You're gonna knock his helmet off, and it'll say Alakul charges his enemies or something like that. That's when you want to be very careful. There's gonna be one or two more spawns of enemies, and it's just gonna be a bunch of thralls, a bunch of explosive or cursed thralls. There you go. That's what he looks like, and then he is just going to charge at you. He doesn't even care. Just be very careful. As you can see, I am trying to do my best to get rid of these enemies and damage Alakul at the same time. It's just not working for me. Just go ahead and run around in circles. Jump as often as possible. They won't be able to reach you in the air. And then, yeah, just keep throwing your grenades. And then a good way to get rid of or to avoid Alakul is the spot that he sees you in when he despawns is going to be, he's going to spawn in right next to that point the next time he spawns in, if that makes sense. So if you're on the left side when he despawns, he's going to despawn right where you're standing. So if you run all the way to the right side, you can get some really nice pot shots on him as he's charging you, especially since you'll be able to see him a whole lot clearer with his brain exposed. But yeah, other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned till the end for rewards, or stay tuned for a couple more seconds for rewards, I guess. We do get this, the sunrise bounty, and the normal stuff. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button so I can't talk. And other than that, that's going to do it. Look in the description box down below for links. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll talk to you later.
We can come back for them when you're ready. Let's get you home.